Well, good evening and welcome back to Going to Ground. Do you have an Advent candle this year? Along with the calendar, the Advent candle is the essential countdown companion as we prepare for Christmas, and ours is lingering around somewhere around the 8th of December. Quite hard to burn it down a precise amount each day, but we light ours at meal times, and a great gladdening light as we prepare together and look forward. This is what Advent is about, looking forward. Last year, Advent was celebrated for me at the cathedral, at Salisbury Cathedral, with the much missed this year Darkness to Light celebration, which has become quite a well-known and extremely popular occasion, which is part Advent carol service, part gathering for the city, and part spectacular demonstration of the power of light in the midst of the winter darkness. At one point in the service early on, with 1,000 or so people in the cathedral, all the lights are turned off early on in the processions, every light, and we're all gathered together there in pitch dark. And last year was my first and only experience of this so far, and I was processing and the experience of being so close with so many others, but without seeing them, but knowing they were there, was terrific. And then one by one, with one little candle, light began to spread and pass throughout that great hall of House of God, and until it was brilliant with the light of hundreds and hundreds of candles. I'm not quite sure how many, but it's hundreds and hundreds. And at that service, one of the first carols sung as the lights began to be lit was this carol, "This is the Truth Sent from Above," which immediately became my favourite festive carol. It is so wintry and yet warm, and ancient and yet appealingly fresh as well. It is a beautiful folk melody set by Vaughan Williams, but the carol was one of those collected in Herefordshire, I think, at the beginning of the 20th century, while they were Vaughan Williams and Cecil Sharp and others were realising that those who knew the ancient folk tunes were dying out, and they went round without recording equipment, of course, but annotating and noting down, recording the ancient carol and folk tunes. And this is one of those set by Vaughan Williams, as I say, telling the story of God's great saga with his creation told in scripture. And without much polish, and just sat here, I'm going to attempt to sing it to you, and just as hopefully as to whet your appetite to go and listen to one of the beautiful versions that there are online. There's you can hear on YouTube the Choir from Kings singing it, and it is there are various beautiful versions, and I'd half imagined to sing it to you from a frosty field this morning. There was this beautiful frost here in Wiltshire. I took some photos and put them on Instagram, but when I took the carol book out, actually outside and to the River Kennet footbridge, but the noise of the traffic was so great that it would have destroyed any festive atmosphere I tried to give it. So I thought we'd try again in by candlelight this evening. So this is the carol. first thing that I will relate, that God at first did man create. The next thing which to you I'll tell, woman was made with him to dwell. And after that 'twas God's own choice to place them both in paradise, there to remain from evil free, except they ate of such a tree. But they did eat, which was a sin, and thus their ruin did begin. Ruin themselves, both you and me, and all of our posterity. As we were as to endless woes, till God the Lord did interpose, and so our promise soon did run, that he'd redeem us by his Son. God bless you as you go to ground.